Diddy's cushy job in Fort Dix prison gives Major Todd Chrisley vibes. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day. Before we begin the video, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Chrisley knows best. It appears Sean Diddy Combs' harrowing prison experience is shaping up to be eerily similar to that of reality television star and former inmate Todd Chrisley's time behind bars. As evidenced in prison documents obtained by CBS News, the disgraced rapper is passing the time during his 4-year prison sentence at the Fort Dix Federal Correctional Institution in New Jersey by serving as a chaplain's assistant. He works in the chapel library, where he describes the environment as warm, respectful, and rewarding. Combs' publicist, Judah Engelmayer, told CBS News about his client's prison work. As it turns out, Chrisley also worked as an assistant to the chaplain at Federal Prison Camp Pensacola for almost 2 years while serving a 12-year sentence after being found guilty of both bank and tax fraud. His wife, Julie Chrisley, was also found guilty on the same charges and sentenced to 7 years in prison at the Federal Medical Center in Lexington, Kentucky. You can read all about the downfall of the Chrisley family here. Unfortunately for Todd, his time in the chapel came to a grinding halt when he was abruptly fired from the volunteer position. Side note, can you get fired from a volunteer gig? Cue the head scratch. Todd's lawyer, Jay Sargent, told Today.com on October 25, 2024, that Todd was disappointed and emotionally offended after being stripped of the position without cause. Sargent said that he was told that Todd was nixed from his assistant chaplaincy position because he had been communicating with people that had been admitted into the prison's program for drug abuse. Sargent, however, said he believed Todd's removal ultimately boiled down to the drug program participants having access to the outside. Is Diddy taking a page out of Todd Chrisley's prison to pardon the playbook? In the end, however, both Todd Chrisley and his wife Julie Chrisley's prison sentences were cut short when President Donald Trump pardoned them on May 27, 2025. A shocking move that had everyone picking sides. Trump is always pleased to give well-deserving Americans a second chance, especially those who have been unfairly targeted and overly prosecuted by an unjust justice system. White House spokesperson Harrison Fields told NBC News about the president's decision. Could it be that Diddy has his eyes on a pardon or even commutation for himself, and he's simply just taking a page out of Chrisley's prison to pardon playbook? On October 20, 2025, TMZ reported that a source in the White House claimed that the president was going back and forth as to whether or not he should commute Diddy's prison sentence. Alas, the White House Communications Office effectively quashed that story merely 1 day later. There is zero truth to the TMZ report, which we would have gladly explained had they reached out before running their fake news, the official said in a statement to NBC News. The president, not anonymous sources, is the final decider on pardons and commutations. It appears, however, the statement didn't dissuade a hopeful Diddy. On November 4, sources told TMZ that the Bad Boy Records founder was boasting about receiving his own pardon from President Trump in early 2026. TBD, we suppose. As we all know, stranger things have happened. Diddy's reported daily life inside Fort Dix Federal Correctional Institution is drawing widespread attention as new details emerge about his surprisingly cushy work assignment, a revelation that has sparked comparisons to another high-profile inmate who previously dominated headlines. Observers have noticed striking similarities to the experience of Todd Chrisley, the reality television patriarch whose own prison job and routine once captivated the public and stirred debate about how celebrities adapt to incarceration. The parallels between the two stories have become a topic of fascination, fueling questions about whether fame continues to influence comfort, opportunity, and perception. Even has been the subject of intense scrutiny, with fans and critics alike searching for clues about how his life has changed in the wake of the legal challenges surrounding him. Early reports suggested that he has managed to settle into a job assignment that appears far less demanding than what many inmates face. Sources familiar with federal prison operations note that work programs can vary greatly depending on availability, inmate behavior, and scheduling, yet the optics of a relatively relaxed role for such a high-profile figure have already triggered conversations. For many observers, the comparisons to Todd Chrisley were immediate, as he too was known for securing a position inside his facility that raised eyebrows among viewers of his reality empire. Todd Chrisley's tenure behind bars became public conversation due to the stark contrast between the lavish lifestyle he showcased on television and the structured regimen he stepped into within the prison system. Reports about him performing lighter duties and navigating an environment that appeared more manageable than expected drew both sympathy and criticism. Fans argued that he was simply adapting, while skeptics questioned whether celebrity status played a role in the privileges he allegedly received. That mixture of curiosity and judgment now swirls around Diddy, who faces similar whispers as details continue to surface. The comparison between the two men also highlights an enduring cultural fascination with celebrities who fall from public grace and enter a world defined by strict schedules, rigid rules, and limited autonomy. The public often struggles to reconcile the polished personas seen on television, red carpets, and social media with the confined, regulated existence within a federal facility. This contrast becomes even more compelling when reports suggest that their transitions include work assignments that appear more comfortable than the general population's experience. Diddy's situation at Fort Dix echoes this pattern, reinforcing the narrative that fame can follow individuals even into the most controlled environments. Those who follow prison operations closely emphasize that not all seemingly easy jobs are the result of special treatment. Some positions naturally involve fewer physical demands or allow for more predictable hours. These roles can be assigned to long-term inmates, older individuals, or those assessed to pose minimal risk. Yet the fascination persists, especially when those involved are cultural icons whose influence extends far beyond their current circumstances. The conversation around Diddy hints at a broader societal struggle to separate perception from reality, as people speculate whether his daily responsibilities reflect institutional processes or the lingering effects of celebrity privilege. Meanwhile, parallels to Todd Chrisley continue to circulate, fueled by the memory of how his incarceration story unfolded. From the early days of his confinement, reports painted a picture of a man adapting to a lifestyle entirely opposite to the glamorous world he once commanded. His job assignments, which some described as less grueling than expected, became part of a media narrative that followed him throughout his sentence. The audience that once tuned into his family's comedic challenges began analyzing every detail of his prison experience, turning it into an extension of the reality show dynamic. With Diddy now facing similar public curiosity, the comparison feels almost inevitable. What fascinates many observers is how both men's situations reflect the complexities of fame and consequence. Fans of Diddy argue that his work assignment may simply align with his age, his background, or the institutional needs of Fort Dix. Others point out that the facility has a history of assigning inmates to various roles that sometimes appear more relaxed than outsiders expect. Still, the broader narrative forming online centers around the question of fairness and optics. In a culture where celebrity news spreads quickly and shapes perception, even routine prison tasks take on new meaning when associated with a famous name. The public's reaction reveals something deeper about how society processes the downfall of larger-than-life figures. There is a persistent curiosity about whether fame dissolves the moment someone steps behind bars, or whether aspects of it remain intact in subtle ways. The echoes of Todd Chrisley's story serve as a powerful reference point because his journey illustrated how celebrity narratives can survive even in spaces designed to strip individuals of power and identity. Diddy's unfolding experience is now entering that same realm, becoming a blend of public fascination, speculation, and debate. As more information surfaces about Diddy's adjustment to prison life, the comparisons may continue to grow. Both men entered the justice system with massive followings, strong public personas, and long-standing reputations shaped by decades of cultural influence. Their transitions into correctional environments triggered emotional responses from supporters and critics alike, revealing just how much interest people maintain in the lives of celebrities even when their worlds change dramatically. Ultimately, the conversation surrounding Diddy's cushy job at Fort Dix and the similarities to Todd Chrisley's experience speaks to a larger narrative about fame, privilege, and public perception. Whether these roles reflect institutional norms or a softened reality for those who carry significant name recognition, the fascination remains. People watch closely, dissecting every detail, forming opinions about the fairness of their treatment, and questioning what their experiences say about the broader justice system. Diddy's story is still unfolding, and the comparisons to Todd Chrisley will likely persist as long as new details continue to emerge. The public appears committed to tracking his journey, not solely out of criticism but out of curiosity about how someone who once stood among the most influential figures in music navigates a new life defined by restrictions and routines. The narrative, gripping as it is, underscores society's enduring interest in the human side of celebrity downfall, especially when it intersects with questions of privilege, adaptation, and accountability. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, America Trends 24, and stay with us.